Hey, yo, it's Megamouth. And today in the Mega News, an unfortunate headline here. The Republicans are getting closer to losing the House even before the midterm elections. Sadly, Doug LaMalfa is dead at 65. I believe he was a representative from California. Now, people said that with the redistricting going on in California, which may or may not end up being to be judged constitutionally legal, um, if those realignments go forward, he was going to be in a very large predicament anyway, so he might not have been able to keep his seat. But for Republicans, for conservatives in this country, this is a sad day indeed. Particularly, it's a very sad day for all of his family and friends. It does not look like it has been reported yet what happened to cause his death, but the Republicans' majority now goes down from 219 to 218. I believe Marjorie Taylor Greene recently resigned as well from Congress. So Republicans may lose the majority before we even get to the election in November. 219 is what is required to have the lead in the House, and it is getting smaller by the day. And another news story, Montana State, congratulations to them. They won the FCS level of the college football playoffs. That's the second highest level of college football in America. There's a lot of smaller universities like Villanova and Tarleton State University that play at that level. And some of those universities they went quite deep this year. I think Villanova went to the Final Four. Tarleton State University, a small university in Texas, they went to the Final Eight. And honestly, they should have gone a lot further. They kind of disappointed a lot of people in Texas. But in terms of the big states like North Dakota State, they went out early. But little old Illinois State, they won like four road playoff games in a row. They were an unranked team coming into the playoffs. How they even got in, I'm not really sure of how they pulled that off, but they did. And many congratulations to them because they almost shocked the world and won the national championship. Looks like it came down to a 1 point game in overtime tonight, 35-34. They were behind early and came from behind. I believe I saw they were down 14 points in the first quarter, so to even force overtime, this is a mighty impressive feat for them indeed. But for everyone in Montana, congratulations. You are finally national champions once again. And some financial news today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, it looks like it's headed for its first ever over 49,000 point close in its history. I remember back in the day when I was a kid, it was like a huge deal the first time the Dow Jones went over 10,000, and everybody was like, "Oh, it can't possibly stay over 10,000. It's going to have a Great Depression style crash any day now." And it's gone higher and higher since then. I do recall, though, back during the Great Recession, I saw it hit down into the 6,000 range once again. But for everybody that got invested way back then, y'all were certainly lucky indeed. The Dow's going over 49,000, probably going over 50,000 this year. Um, it's certainly good overall for our economy. Some people say the Dow Jones Industrial Average is not like the greatest financial metric anymore. A lot of people prefer to go by the S&P 500. They say that's a better indicator for the overall health of the U.S. economy. But the Dow Jones is the traditional, most broadly looked at indices to determine stock market health. And, some investments, some ETFs are still tied to its performance as well. So it's certainly a good day indeed. I think I saw earlier that the NASDAQ was also headed up by about 100 points. It's still maintaining that. S&P 500 up about 0.5% as well today. So that's certainly nice if you have money invested in the stock market. And earlier I saw there was an article here that was talking about the United States of America is still looking at possibly taking over Greenland. Um, Apparently Greenland has about 56,000 total people for its population. It's an incredibly small country in terms of its global importance, except for the fact that apparently the landmass is very important for theoretical new Arctic shipping lanes during the summertime that could become very important for future world trade. It's also apparently said to be very important for the security of the United States of America because when you look at the top of the map, Russia in a way is actually kind of close to us, of course, closer to Canada than us, but um, this would be, in theory, very important if we could somehow come to a business arrangement with Denmark, the current administrating kingdom of the Greenland territory. It's one of those little oddities where Greenland is sort of like their own independent country right now, but not really. So they're kind of like a self-governing autonomous territory within Denmark. Um, I know that Greenland would certainly like to come into the CONCACAF soccer region, join up with a lot of countries like America, Mexico, Canada, and establish their national soccer team as a more legitimate team, possibly even join FIFA long term. Um, perhaps we could sweeten the agreement if we offered them something like that. But for now, the polls I've seen are all over the place. Some indicate that the people of Greenland would like to join with the United States of America, at least as a territory like Puerto Rico. Other polls show that they would certainly like to remain part of Denmark or have their full autonomous independence. So I'm not sure how realistic it is that Greenland will ever become part of the United States of America. But just like people said, the purchase of Alaska was a folly in the past. I actually think that a purchase of Greenland for its natural resources could one day benefit the people of the United States of America greatly. That remains to be seen, but we'll just have to see how negotiations pan out on this one. Will Greenland become part of the United States of America? Only time will tell. And in the first full length video I made the other day, admittingly the quality wasn't the best, had some audio issues, and couldn't even find the stock price for Domino's Pizza. So I thought I'd circle back around to that one. In terms of Domino's Pizza, they used to, they were almost worthless at one point. Their, stock price had gotten down to like $5.04 per share. Well, oh, wow, 378 at its lowest point, it looks like 303. And since then, they've had just an amazing run up in terms of their overall stock price. If you go to the lowest point here, if you even invested like $1,000 in them way back in the day, you'd be pretty much rich right now, like a 10,000% gain on your money invested if you go back to about 2008, 2009. But in terms of their recent changes, I've been upset with them for taking a lot of, items off the menu that they even still have ingredients to make. So, why remove them from your online ordering system? I'm very greatly aggrieved by that. Not really, I'm more like annoyed by it. But in terms of, is it affecting Domino's stock price? Well, if you go back about 2 years since they started to change things around with like their sandwich selection and their pasta selection, and now of course they're messing with their specialty sandwich selection as well. Domino's, they are certainly going down in price, down to about $112 a share, almost 22%. So I think Domino's, they are starting to flail just a little bit right now. What they need to do is they need to improve the quality of their chicken wings, and they need to bring back some of their classic sandwich and pasta and pizza selections as well. I think if they do that, they make their customer base happy again, hopefully get the stock price going back in the right direction. But anyway, I just thought I'd follow back around on that for now. So Domino's, they are certainly down from their peak a few years ago, gone through a lot of turmoil in recent years from the post-pandemic highs. And ultimately, those are some of the best news stories I've seen out there for today. So this is Mega Mouse signing out. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe.